Here in America, we still use the empirical system, right? We aren't reading centimeters and meters, we read in feet and inches. And so when you look at a ruler, we are divided into sixteenths. Every inch is divided into sixteenths. And so every little line here represents 1/16. So as you go up, say I wanted to mark something that was 12 and 11/16. I know just by looking at it, it's right there. Now how you could find that if you didn't know just by looking at it, you can count all your little lines. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11/16 is right there. For most applications, measuring to a 16th will have you close enough. If you are doing finish work or building furniture, you need to be within a 32nd of an inch. So you're going to be saying, let's say the line, we're just going to move the tape over. Let's say the line, see how it's right in between these two lines? So I would say that's 11/16 heavy, or you could say 12 3/4 light. And so if you hear someone say that, that means it's not quite any of the lines, it's in between. So if you hear someone say heavy or light, it's because it's in between the 16th and the next mark, right? And so again, you can count your lines to get there, or as you get better at it, you're going to eventually learn, let's put it back right on 11/16. So eventually you're going to learn just by the size of the line and where it is on the tape, you can just automatically be able to tell. And so the big one in the middle is always a half. The next size down, this is 1/4, and this is 3/4. So if you use those as your references, so half is the big one, the next size down, the first one is 1/4, 3/4, and then you're going to go the next size down. So you got 1/8, 3/8, 5/8, 7/8, which are also all odd numbers. And then the last ones are 16th. So you got 1/8 or 1/16, 3/16, 5/16, 7/16, 9/16, 11/16, 13/16, and lastly 15/16. And did you notice? Again, those are also all odd numbers because they can't be reduced any further. Because if you count all these lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8/16, no one's going to say that. They're always going to say ½ inch because it reduces all the way down to that. So if you ever write a number out, a measurement, and you have a even number in the top, so let's say you wrote 4/16, you know that's not right. If this number here is ever even, that's not the right measurement because it can get reduced. So 4/16 would also be 1/4. And again, I can show you that right here. So if you count the little lines, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4/16, which gets reduced to 1/4. This is 1 inch blown up megascale, right? And so here we have 16 little boxes. So this represents all those little tiny lines. So on your tape measure, if you were just to start counting your little tick marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? If you were to start counting and you ended there, you would know you have 8/16. The problem is that's not a reduced fraction. No one says 8/16. So this little cheat sheet, what I did, I created it this way. And then so you just slide all the way down to the bottom, like playing Chutes and Ladders. If you ever played that game as a kid, you're going to count your lines, and you'll slide straight down. And look, so 8/16 is actually a ½ inch, right? So let's try again. Let's count. We'll say we went to 12/16. So we got 12/16, but that seems like we could reduce it. And so we can shoot down, and we can go, oh, that's a 3/4 line. All right? And so this, notice the different lengths of the lines? It's just like on your tape measure. A whole number, a 16/16 is 1, right? So pretend this is 1 inch, and look, that's the longest line. And when we go right in the middle of the ½ inch, because there's these other options, right? Here we go, we got the middle size line, and the next size down, and then the next size all the way down to a 16th, which is the smallest tick mark. So again, this is referencing your tape measure, right? We got a full line is your 1 inch, or your inch, a whole number. Half is the biggest in the middle, and we go to 3/4, 1/8, and then 16th marks. So as you get started using tape measures, finding a tape measure like this might be helpful, this has all your little fractions written out for you. So some tapes have this built in, but you'll find as you get better at it, those markings actually just make it too confusing. It's too many little things to see when you're trying to make quick measurements on the job site. But as you start out, maybe look for a tape measure like this so you can get really good at it. And again, you're going to start out, there's no shame in having to count the little tick lines. But remember, when you do that, always reduce to the smallest fraction. If you have an even number as the numerator in the top of your fraction, that's not the right measurement. So never say 8/16. Remember to always reduce that to a 1/2 inch. And again, as you get better at this, you're not even going to have to count lines. You're just going to know by visually looking at the size of the line and where it is on the tape measure, you're going to be able to tell, oh, that's a 13/16. Oh, that's a 7/16, just by looking at it really quick. You don't have to even think about it. And so get a tape measure, start practicing, measure things around the house, and get used to it. Because again, learning how to read this and read it correctly is going to set you apart and help you to succeed even faster. And mismeasuring can cause a lot of expensive mistakes. Because on a building, what if you're an inch off or a 1/4 inch off? Or when you're cutting expensive trim work, if you're just a 1/16 off, that can be a big deal, right? You can always cut material a little bit shorter, but once you cut it too short, it's too late. So you want to make sure you can read a tape measure accurately and get it right the first time. So grab a tape and start practicing with stuff around the house.